where do we go? Busy, busy, busy day. Yes, good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller.
Goodbye, caller. Yes, caller. Are you there? Yes,
Hey.
you're on the air.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, do you think a person's past can affect their future?
Yeah,
Of course.
of course. It's a recorded history. Yeah.
Well, do you think like a childhood trauma could affect the person's outcome at the end?
I would say that there are psychologists and psychiatrists who say yes, and I probably, at first brush, would say yes.
Oh, what are you getting around to? What's
What do you think about Glenn Beck and like the suicide of his mother and the suicide of his brother?
Glenn Beck, suicide? I didn't realize that his mom and dad committed
I didn't
suicide.
either.
That's a terrible thing.
Mom and dad?
Now, you think it? You think it?
I didn't say his mom and dad. I said his mother committed suicide and his brother.
Oh,
And
his
his
brother.
brother,
Okay. I didn't realize that. That's a terrible thing.
I mean, you don't think that has something to do with the way he acts now?
No, I don't think there's any comparison between that. Suicide usually results as a result of depression or terminal illness, something like that.
For that to happen to a person in their family, I just listened to what you said and I asked you two questions.
Yeah,
you
but
agreed it has an effect on a person's outcome, but now you're saying it doesn't.
yeah, but your premise is totally inapplicable to the situation you're talking about.
No, it's not, because if he had a trauma in his life where his mother committed suicide, he could have thought that...
You're saying because he's a conservative, it goes back to his mother being committing suicide?
It's nothing to do with politics. I'm just talking about it as a person.
Now, what has he done as a person that would make you think there's a link there?
Just the way he acts, the funny, the crazy looks he has, the vendetta he has out after Obama.
What that is called is your personal prejudice. It's not a. It's not. You know.
Is alcohol? No, I'm not prejudiced. I don't hate Beck.
Well, it sounds like you do.
No, I'm just talking about true facts.
I very seldom ever watch him, to tell you the truth. He's no dummy. We all know that, and we all know he's a very right-wing conservative, which he is, and that's okay. But he is also, with the TV show he has, kind of an actor too, if you get my drift. But I don't know much about Beck. I really don't know much about him. I'm not a real big fan of his.
Okay, listen. Yesterday I noticed that when a lady called in, to talk about I stole her husband's money out of the wallet, and then another person called in to say something about the cop. I noticed how you joked about it afterwards, but then today when somebody calls in about something like about Strain, you guys got excuses for why he could be doing this, and then just like I just asked you just now, if a person's childhood could affect their outcome, and then Albert said, psychologists and all of this kind of stuff, but then you want to cut all ties loose when I talk about it as far as Beck.
Because there's no association between what you're talking about. I don't see. I asked you specifically what was he doing that would make you think it's related to his mother's suicide. You say, oh, well, he acts goofy, yeah. That's not a specific. That's just your opinion.
They hate that he spews over the airways.
He don't hate. He does not spew hate.
Yes, he does.
You know what he does? He talks about Acorn talking about trying to bring people into this country for illegal purposes, a Mexican prostitution ring. He puts that on there. He didn't sponsor it, but people went undercover, so he puts that on there. And you saying he's spewing hate?
It's nothing to do with Acorn.
Yes, it did have something to do with Acorn.
No, I'm saying what I'm talking about now has nothing to do with Acorn.
Well,
if you're a child or a young adult and your mother and brother commit suicide, that is going to do something to a person's mind. You can't tell me it's not. You just admitted it from the beginning of the conversation.
I didn't admit that application to it. I thought you were talking about somebody who'd been sexually molested as a child would have something to do with the way they feel now. That's the kind of association I'm thinking about. Not because...
Any type of trauma
Where's your degree from?
At a younger age will affect the person at the end.
Where are you licensed to be a psychologist at?
It's all through history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a license to practice psychiatry?
It's all through history.
Oh, yeah.
People's past can screw up their future.
Do you have a master's in history? Why did he hang up? Why did he hang up? Is it because
got a little too hot?
Is it because he eventually sounded stupid? It's 10 before 7. We'll be right back.
Or 20.
The last caller just does not have much use for Mr. Beck. I don't ever watch his show. I got to tell you, I don't.
Every now and then I catch it, but I don't perceive it's hate that he's spewing out. I do know that he must be pretty effective because he's got them all squealing, and everybody who's, you know, in the liberal category is squealing, so he must be doing something that's pretty effective to get them to even notice him.
Just because someone does not agree with you or you agree with them doesn't mean there's hatred involved.